So if I'm in a balaclava, do you feel uncomfortable if you see me on the street?
I wouldn't want you to wear a balaclava.
Yeah, but you'll feel uncomfortable, won't you?
I wouldn't. No, I just say it's your choice.
Okay, most people will feel uncomfortable if they see me
so ask
walking
me,
down
is
the
that
Make it
balaclava.
illegal. Does it make it
I'm not
illegal?
talking about law now. I'm saying you'd feel uncomfortable.
I wouldn't.
switching now.
Actually, I wouldn't.
Hashim, stick
You
to
know,
your own conversation.
in winter, many people have seen the very force protecting their face from the frozen. Sorry, from the
Maybe
cold.
it won't, but a lot of people will feel intimidated if they see someone, especially big, walking around in a balaclava.
Many people feel intimidated by many people having tattoos on. So what are you going to do?
We should not
Everyone, whose rights you're going to protect?
We should not be.
All, you know what I'm telling this gentleman? The conversation started like this. He said, a woman should not be allowed. Am I right? Tell me if I'm quoting it wrong. A woman should not be allowed to wear the niqab, which means only the eyes showing, the entire face covered.
This is what I said.
And I said, is it wrong to take it off her by force as well? To put it on her by force, I agree that is wrong. But to grab it off by force, is that wrong?
Yes.
Good. What do you say?
I'm saying
Let him answer. What do you say?
my belief is, and I'm not talking about because it's in the law or because whatever, because whoever said it. I'm saying because reason. Okay, use your brain as I do all the time.
But different people have different reasoning.
Yeah, subjective.
It's not subjective.
It is subjective.
It's subjective.
Morality is subjective, my friend.
No,
Some
it's
people,
not.
look, in some communities,
I'm sorry,
wearing miniskirts is not
You've
permitted.
been talking for enough
I'm
time.
talking about
You
non-Muslim
have been
communities.
talking
Right now,
Please let me
if
make
you
my
had
point.
a daughter or a son and they got killed by a person wearing a fucking balaclava and you would never catch the person, I promise you'd be the first person saying,
Yeah, that's what we're saying, it's objective.
ban the balaclava.
That's what we're saying, it's
I promise you
objective.
right now, when you got fucking acid attacks, stabbings, how many deaths were there last year? No, murders in London last year. No, sorry, last month. Look at
What were the murders for?
Look at this society.
How-
And guess what?
How were the murders committed?
And guess what?
Knife? By knife?
And guess what?
Are you going to ban the knives now?
Sir, I am not younger than you. Yeah? There is a saying from the young people, 16, 17, there's a saying called no face, no case. No face, no case.
Let me ask you
I
this.
promise you, sir.
Let me ask you this. So based on your,
Honestly, Google it.
we're going all over the place now. Look, I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong. All I'm saying is that if you want to enforce something by law, yes, then that can be contrived as freedom, taking your freedom away from you. Yes? Now wait a minute.
I would say I want to be naked, that's my freedom. I know it's not acceptable to walk around naked.
Yeah, but if it was, will you?
It's not.
Exactly, because your definition of modesty is different from those who say it is okay
No, because
to walk naked.
some people do want to walk around naked.
Exactly.
But they don't.
But that's what I'm
because
telling
they
you.
know-
That's exactly my point. That your modesty is
You abide
subjective.
by the rules in which
Your
you are.
modesty is subjective from those nudist beaches. Yes? There are certain beaches where they say you have to walk naked here, and that is they feel comfortable there. You see what I mean? That is their modesty, but I wouldn't say that's the same as your modesty. Am I right?
Where we are is different.
All I'm saying is that these are subjective things.
You didn't hear that original
question, you know
Okay,
that's
so
subjective.
I don't think
why
the
I was
original question's
saying,
been
why I was
held.
saying that some things are objective, I don't mean your style of clothing. I like your style of clothing. It's not objective. What is objective is women and men are worth the same. And if you have a belief that goes against that, it's objectively wrong.
Hold on, that's not the... Sorry.
Objectively,
Okay,
not subjectively.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you one example which we all can relate to. What is your view about usury, about interest that the banks charges? This is somehow globally accepted. Yes? Do you think this is morally right?
Objective does not mean at the moment accepted.
globally-
In Nazi Germany, you have many people believe that Jews are worth less. It didn't mean that objectively it was right.
Say again?
In Nazi Germany,
Yeah.
many people believe that Jews are worth less. That does not mean that Jews are worth less. It actually means the opposite. Jews objectively seen are worth exactly the same by virtue of being human, just like our female partners.
Hold this up, we'll do it.
What is that going to do with
He's
what I
saying
said?
that if something's universal, doesn't make it objective.
So what? Because isn't this universal? Sorry, wait. Weren't this your words? Universal.
Yes.
What is that?
Universal values.
Values. Yes. So give me an example of a universal value which you think is everyone should abide by. Yes. Go on.
Democracy.
Really?
Freedom of expression. Freedom of assembly.
Whoa.
Freedom of religion.
Wait. You think democracy is something that should be accepted? Do you know Hitler was elected by democracy?
Yes. I know my history.
Look how he ended up.
Yes, but that's a corruption of democracy.
So that's what I'm telling you. Why should some tribe who doesn't want to accept democracy should abide by your Western values of democracy.
It is objectively seen the best system.
They feel
out
happy
there.
with the way they are.
Yeah.
This tribe.
So what? The Islamic
Wait,
State
wait.
feels happy with how they are.
No. Islamic State is not happy. That's why they're killing everyone.
They feel happy with how they
If
are.
they were happy, they wouldn't be
They do
killing.
not want democracy. They want theocracy.
No.
That's
Wait.
right. That's right.
Democracy doesn't mean that it is a Western way of democracy by bombs and by putting them into a.
That's not the rest of the world.
Really? So you tell me how was Iraq brought into democracy?
By bombs. But that's not because
Thank you.
of
I rest my
democracy.
case. I rest my case.
That's despite of democracy, not because of democracy.
It was. What
If
did
you look at the statistics,
So you tell me.
you know how
wait. You
democratic
tell me how will you justify the war in Iraq?
do you know how many
Tell
governments?
me how will you
Do you
justify
know how
the war
many
in Iraq?
democratic governments have fought wars against democratic governments since 1770?
Oh, you're answering the
Zero.
question for me.
Zero.
Why?
Because democracy in itself objectively enhances peace.
Really?
Yes.
So let me get this straight. Are you saying that if a country is not democratic, should you force them into democracy?
No.
Then you're agreeing with me then. Then you're agreeing with me.
I didn't say that.
But you said this was a universal case where everyone should abide by.
I'm saying it would be better if they were democratic.
But my friend, you're agreeing with me then. Just like that woman who wants to only show her eyes and not the rest of the face, you cannot force her to take that away from her.
It's not the same invading a country and killing millions of people.
I agree, but the principle is similar. In one, a country doesn't want to have a democracy, just like you cannot force them into democracy.
You cannot
Wait.
always force them.
Let me finish my statement. Just like you cannot force them into democracy, whether always or otherwise, you cannot force them. If you force them, then that goes against the principle of democracy, by the people, of the people, for the people.
So how would you
because
say
these
about-
people
what
do
would you
not
say-
want
what do you-
by the people
What do you say
or
about gay
for the
people?
people.
What about gay people?
Don't change the topic to gay people.
Oh no, it's the same. As you say, you changed the topic from invasions
So you're
to
saying,
the head.
wait.
No, stop. Let me make my argument.
I didn't finish my point. You already brought in gay people.
Finish
Let
your
me
point.
wait. My point is this: forcing anyone to do something, whether it's by democracy or theocracy, is wrong. Do you agree?
No.
What's the difference between you and ISIS then?
By the way, he didn't change subject. It was based on you forcing.
It's a principle.
Or allowing. You said
It's a
they
principle.
shouldn't
What
allow
about-
the
what
boycott.
about-
If you force someone, even by democracy,
like
how
how
is
you're
that?
betting with yourself.
How is that freedom?
So what I'm telling, freedom, my friend, is not absolute.
And neither is democracy.
Democracy, I didn't say democracy is absolute.
Oh, wait. You said it could be forced.
Don't mingle my words. What I say is, freedom is not absolute in the sense of my freedom stops where your freedom begins. So, if
Your
for
freedom
example,
what?
my freedom ends where yours begins.
Ah, I see what you mean. You cannot impose your freedom on me. Yes. Just like you cannot impose on that woman who wants to wear
What
the
about
niqab.
a thief?
He keeps saying it, but he doesn't realize it.
No. You're distorting my argument. If you
He
have
said
a
that niqab, they shouldn't be
if
allowed
you have
to wear
a
niqab.
if you have a person that likes stealing or raping, you should be able to force them to not exercise their freedom.
Oh no. Hold on.
Clearly what he's saying is to agree with him, but that's fine.
Stealing somebody else's property, you're actually harming that someone else. Killing somebody else, you're harming that somebody else. Wearing a niqab is harming whom?
You're harming society.
How?
By expressing that backwards message,
How
medieval
is it back?
message.
How is it backward?
Women should wear this, men should not wear this.
Okay, so let me get this right. If a woman wears a bikini, like the cave women who who hardly wore any clothes, which one is backward? The one that the woman covers completely, or the woman uncovers almost completely?
The one that is covered completely.
Really?
Yes.
That's better. Yes. Thank you. I rest my case.
I think it's
Wait,
good.
no, it's backward. I thought you said backward.
No, backward. So the cave women who did not cover, they're similar to today's women who don't cover. How is that backwards?
What I'm saying is, it's backward in the
You
sense
tell
of
me which is backwards.
It's
To
obviously
uncover
not-
or to cover?
to cover is backward.
So you're telling me that if someone in your family uncovers their body,
They're naked, obviously not, but in the bikini it's okay.
in a bikini even in a bikini, you know the cave women weren't completely naked.
Yeah. What is it?
So how is your women that you want them to roam around in bikinis different to the cave women? Which one is backwards? Did the cave women completely cover? No, they did not. Do the women today who hardly wear any clothes go out on the beach and so
They're not
on,
different
or go out
in
even in the public in the summer? Now you tell me which one is backwards.
They're not different in many respects.
Well, why are you telling me what is backward then? When you don't know what backward means?
I know it's backwards.
You're going by the backward by the definition of what your Western
Backwards
said to you.
Backwards. Don't use stupid words, okay?
Stupid
You
words?
know what
Oh,
backwards
Western
means.
communities are stupid words.
Don't. You know
You're the
what,
one who brought up the word backward.
Can I make my argument now?
Yeah, go on.
So backwards in this sense is not just not only backwards in time, which I mean backwards to the medieval age, not backwards to the caveman.
So define backward then.
Okay, so don't put it with the absurd.
Define backward.
Backwards means outdated because it has been
Time?
refuted over and over again.
Outdated includes
said
time.
that. He just said that.
It is objectively, it has been refuted
It's
over and
not,
over
it's
again
not,
over time.
it's not objective, trust me. Nothing objective about backward.
So
What you might consider as backward, yes, I might not. And what I might
you're
consider as
saying there's
backward,
no
you might
objective-
not.
So you're saying there's no objective truth.
There is objective truth. Of course there is objective truth.
So
What I'm asking you is that the objective truth which you place about a woman covering and for her own wishes, you're saying she should not be allowed to do that.
logical
In fact, that is a logical argument. You forcing someone not to wear what they want, it is backwards.
I ask you, how can you logically argue? How can you logically argue? Not because it says in my book.
What do you mean logical? What is illogical about someone who wants to go about the way they're dressed?
Because they are a danger to society.
Yeah, that's right.
That is hilarious, dude.
That's a
Is that
dangerous,
what
dangerous
you've been watching Fox
society.
News or what?
I don't like Fox News
Okay,
at all.
tell me one woman in a niqab who has been danger to your life.
Oh, many.
In Germany, thank God, we don't have many.
Even men.
Would that be zero? Would that be zero?
Even
You're brilliant.
men
Would that
have
be
things
zero?
I love your
that,
style. But I was never arguing that the actual women, the persons, are the danger. I'm arguing that their beliefs, the inequality, and I said it over and over again, their belief that humans, that men and females are unequal. That is the dangerous part.
So it's
The
not
niqab-
covering their faces.
The niqab,
Exactly.
the niqab is just a symptom of that belief.
So then someone who prays is a problem as well, right?
What?
Someone who prays as well.
Praise.
You just said their beliefs are an issue.
The belief-
It's where the beliefs leading, yes?
Don't
no,
mingle
no,
words.
it's the way
Their
You're not
belief,
mingling your words, you're mingling your words. I'm trying to clarify them. Go
their
ahead.
belief
Yeah.
that men and women are unequal. Not
Who
that
told you they're unequal?
Who said this?
Just because they dress. Look, in
Why
our
are men
society.
dressed
Wait
like
a minute. In our society, yes. Do you wear a miniskirt and high heels?
no, but I could.
But do you?
I don't think it's wrong.
Would you?
I don't think it's
Would
wrong.
you?
I could.
Would you?
Why don't you wear it, mate?
Wait. Would you?
I don't wear it because I think it's wrong. I don't wear it because it's not fashionable.
Oh, I see. So you, just like this gentleman earlier said, you would go by the fashion in the society.
Yes.
Now let me ask you this: if it was fashion in the society to get married to your sister, would you?
No, it's different.
Oh,
You know,
my
honestly.
God, that's hilarious.
It's
No,
like,
you know what? There's no
Why not? In the future, it might become fashionable to marry a sister. In fact, it was in the past. If you go to places like Egypt, yes, and places like Rome, they used to marry the sisters. It was fashionable then. But this gentleman, according to him, if it's fashionable, you do it.
No.
That's the illogical thing I've heard.
This is the opposite of what I said.
No,
I said
no,
that
you
was
said-
logic. You tell me what I said.
Okay, you said the reason you don't wear miniskirts and high heels is because it's not fashionable.
Correct.
But if it was fashionable, you'll wear them.
Maybe.
Good. Now the same argument can be applied to incest. If it is, why not?
Because that is objectively, universally, morally wrong.
No, it's not. Many people actually
Because
commit
if
incest.
you're harming the children, you will go.
How are you harming